Last time I showed you my concepts for regional variants of Tatsugiri based on the regions from the first generations Kanto, Johto, Hoenn and Sinnoh. Please check out the video if you haven't, you're gonna get a few more informations about the whole thing. In this video we will be covering Gen 5 aka the best generation till Generation 8, starting with Unova. Unova is based on New York and is the first region that is not based on a location from Japan. While looking up food from New York, I found the bagel. It's a food often associated with the city or America in general. While looking up the Wikipedia article for bagels, I found out that it was brought to the USA by Eastern European Jewish immigrants at the beginning of the 20th century. I feel like I should have known that, but somehow I didn't. They basically look like salty donuts, but they are made completely different and taste nothing alike. I personally prefer donuts, but I also rarely eat bagels. I probably ate like 1 or 2 bagels in my whole life, so yeah. The shape of this fake one is inspired by a bagel that got cut in half. The fin is supposed to resemble some salad sticking out of it, and there are also some sesame patterns on the back and under the eye. Like the Yubari melon Tatsugiri, it lacks fins. I imagine this form would be like rolling around, or at least trying to roll around. First Tatsugiri of the video, Unovian Tatsugiri, a water and normal type. This typing may seem a bit weird, but to me a bagel seems rather normal or basic when compared to other baked goods. And this is not meant in a negative way by any means, just, I don't know, that was my association with it. We all know what comes after Unova, Kalos. The region from Generation 6 is based on France and was the first time I didn't have to look up any food because I already knew what I wanted to do. Crème brûlée. Crème brûlée is a dessert made out of egg yolk, cream and sugar, and on top of it you put a bunch of sugar which gets caramelized by a blowtorch. We often have crème brûlée at home after Sunday dinner. It's probably not as fancy as you can get them in France, but it's still pretty good. Since crème brûlée most of the time gets served in a small bowl, I made this Tatsugiri laying on top of one, and the bowl is resembling the rice balls of the official Tatsugiris. It's the first form where I actually did this. Crème brûlée sounds pretty fancy, so I want this fake one to also look some sort of fancy. The bowl has a golden part and the Tatsugiri has its nose high up in the sky and is looking down on, well, realistically speaking, probably no one, cause it is really tiny, but it thinks it can look down at others even though it's not the case. The older it gets, the more they realize that that's not how life works. May I present you Kalos Tatsugiri. It's a water and rock type. I know this doesn't make a lot of sense, but I figured the caramelized sugar on top of crème brûlée is pretty hard, so it could be translated well into a rock type. Let me know if that was the case. Generation 7 took place in Alola, which is based in Hawaii. I struggled a bit to find a food in a shape that I could translate well into a design until I found the wonton min, and this specific picture, which already looks like a fake one to me. According to Wikipedia, wonton min is a noodle soup called saimin but with added dumplings. The ingredients are, among others things, green onions, noodles and these swirly things. I only found the Japanese term for it and I don't know if it's also used here, so I'm just gonna call it swirly thing. Hope that's fine with you. The shape and the pose of this Tatsugiri are based on the dumpling I've shown you, even though I have to admit that the pose of the dumpling looks better than the one I tried to draw. You can't copy perfection, I guess. It has a noodle-like thing on its tail and a pattern under its eyes, shaped like a green onion. On its back is a spiral, inspired by the swirly soup thingy. Color-wise I went with the blue tone for most of the body, mainly because all Tatsugiris I've drawn so far went into the yellow, orange, red and brown direction, and I wanted more variety than that, so I chose blue, because, I mean, water's blue and soup has water in it, so yeah, blue. Oh, and in case you were wondering why I didn't choose the Malasada as an inspiration, since it was even present in the game Sun and Moon, I totally forgot about them, to be honest. However, there are gonna be 2 more forms based on sweets, so we didn't need another one. I hope that is enough for as an explanation. Here we have it, Alola Tatsugiri, a water and psychic type. I've read an article that called the wonton min the comfort food of Hawaii, so I figured this fake one could use its psychic abilities to make people comfortable around it, so yeah, psychic type. This is really random, but I mentioned the consistency of this fake one to be like a large boba bubble, like really wobbly and filled with a fluid, or maybe like a water balloon or something like that. Waterbed, something like that. And lastly for today, a Tatsugiri based on Galar. The mainland of Galar is the Pokemon equivalent of England and Wales. And what other food is there to pick than fish and chips? It's exactly what it sounds like, fish and chips. Or as Americans would call it, fries. And me too. Sometimes you can also put lime juice or vinegar on it. This, spoiler alert by the way, was the inspiration for the typing, which I'm gonna explain later. While I haven't had most of these types of food that I based the Tatsugiris on, I did indeed eat fish and chips once before. When I was in England a little over 3 years ago, we were on an excursion for 2 weeks and stayed in London for a night. Me and 2 of my friends decided we want to go see the TARDIS, which is somewhere in London. So we went there, and after visiting it we went back to the rest of the group who went into a pub. On the way we saw a fox, which I failed to take a picture of it, or like a proper picture of it. As we tried to enter the pub, me and one of my friends got asked for our ID, cause apparently we didn't look like we were over 18, and I think we actually were the only ones that out of the whole group that got asked. Anyways, we decided to try some fish and chips and it was pretty good. End of the story time. Here it is, Galarian Tatsugiri, a water and poison type. So I know the poison type is not a flattering typing for a food-based fake one, but I thought lime juice and vinegar are the closest thing I can get besides poisonous pufferfish or a fake one based on food poisoning. So these were 4 more regional Tatsugiris. Which one was your favorite of this video or in general? Personally, I gravitate towards the Galarian one or the one from Kalos. Let me know your opinions in the comments. The third part will be the last one, however there will be a whole German's Book episode dedicated to more Tatsugiris. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe to not miss the next video, and check out the Fanart Showcase, and see you in the comments.